Lori here. I'm back to do my TBR for June. I cannot believe it's June. June is super exciting. It's going to be the first full month that we have our puppy. She's outside now with my mom, but you'll probably see her in my reading vlogs. The reading vlog I just filmed was the weekend she came home, so you'll definitely be seeing that probably the same week you see this one. But yeah, so the last 2 months I did not do my TBR game because between the magical readathon and then the middle grade mayhem challenge, I had a lot going on, and I felt normally those are the 2 months that I struggled the most with reading, and I just didn't want to overwhelm myself, which turned out to be very, very accurate to how the month went. But I'm going to bring back my game, and then I'm going to go over everything else I'm planning on reading. I prepped my TBR cart, which you can sort of see. With some books I know that I have to read, and let's just see what the challenges are. So if you haven't played my game, I have a prompt full of a cup full of prompts. I'm also doing the Avengers reading challenge. I stopped doing the Disney reading challenge just because it wasn't working for me. Maybe next year, we'll see. But I really do like the Avengers. The hosts are really engaging. You get rewards when you complete stuff, and I just didn't find that in the Disney reading challenge, unfortunately. Maybe I'm just doing the game wrong, but it was just a lot to do both of those. So I am going to go roll a dice on my computer and pick up the number of prompts I'm going to choose, and then we will do some picking. 6, and it wasn't 1, it was 4, which I think is very, very, very doable. So let's pick. It's over here. Ooh, that was 2. Ooh, a book by a BIPOC author. I actually think I have the perfect one. Let me go get it. It's not the book I thought I was going to read, but I'm going to read Grown by Tiffany Jackson. I've always wanted to read this book. I got it a couple of months ago, and it is a thriller. When legendary R&B artist Corey Fields spots Enchanted Jones at an audition, her dreams of being a famous singer take flight, until Enchanted wakes up with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night. Who killed Corey Fields? I'm really excited for this book. It sounds great, and I literally just finished watching Stranger Things, and that question reminds me a lot of season 4, so I'm really excited for this one. I don't think I've read anything books by Tiffany Jackson. I've read some short stories, and I've seen her at events, so I'm super excited for this one. Let's see what the next prompt is. Top reads of the year 2022 list. All right, I have to go find that list. I've been really bad at reading stuff on that list, so let's go see. Is in a list that I put together based on that, and the only book that I haven't read yet is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. My friend told me I should try to read this book in one sitting. She said that's how it should be read. It's supposed to be very eerie and very, very creepy. And she is, I don't know. Only thing my friend told me is to try to read it over the course of a day. So I might just pick a weekend and try to tackle this. But the cover is really, really fun. I really have liked other books by V.E. Schwab. So yeah, it's just an oddly shaped book. I will say that. But the only thing my friend Sarah told me is that I should read it in one sitting. So that is the book I chose for 2022 releases. I have other ones, but I'm trying to fill out my journal, and that's the only one left. Let's see, what's the other prompt? Okay, I'm not doing the Disney challenge anymore, but I will pick a prompt for one of my newer boards, for one of my Avengers one, just any of them that I haven't done. I'm gonna go figure that out, and then I'll check back in with you. Hit the hut. I'm gonna read. I chose to finish Pietro's board. Pietro Recast. If you don't play the game, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I need to read a book by an Eastern European author. I did not know Alana Andrews was one, so I'm gonna read one of her series. I just bought it because I had an extra credit for Audible. It's called The Innkeeper. I'm really intrigued, so I didn't know where to start. She has a lot of books. Most of them are on Hoopla and stuff, but I just wanted to get a series that's sort of off on its own. But I didn't know that she was an Eastern European author, so I'm really excited. Someone else did it, so I hope that they're right. But I'm gonna pick that one up. Here is the cover, and I'm gonna probably start that on Wednesday because it's a very, very quick read, and I have wanted to read more paranormal books, so that one will be perfect. I have no idea what it's about, other that she runs an inn with a magical element, I would assume. So prompt I need to choose is another Cinderella prompt, which means I'm just going to go pick another earlier board because I want to go in order, so that I can start collecting some of these Avengers before summer. So I will go figure that out, and then I will report back. Okay. A prompt for Hell is bored, and I'm going to choose the lowest rated book on my TBR. I cleaned out most of my Goodreads TBR, and I'm planning on taking a day in the early summer and just putting everything into Goodreads. So the only book that I saw that hasn't come out yet, I don't have access to yet, is a middle grade book, and here is the photo, and ironically, it was on my Kindle TBR, my NetGalley TBR for the next month, so it works out perfectly, but here it is. A book about the Library of Alexandria has always interested me. I don't even need to know what it's about, but if you give that as a twist, I'm excited. So I'm going to put this on my TBR, and now I'm going to go see what the rest of my TBR is going to look like, and I will give you guys my yearly TBR first, and then a project I have to do or would like to do in June, and then we'll see how much more spots I have left, because I don't have a lot on my TBR, but we're going to chat through it. A couple of more coming in the mail, but I do want to do a reading vlog where I read my highly anticipated summer reads. So I'm just going to talk through 4 that I'm going to put on my TBR cart and see if they get chosen. I have a couple coming in the mail, but these are the ones that are immediately like coming to mind because I've had them for a little bit. One is The Lesbian's Guide to Catholic Schools, and it is also Pride Month, so I do want to read a couple of these. A sharp, funny, incredibly moving portrait of a queer American navigating Catholic school familia, expectations about falling in love, learning to celebrate her full true self. So this one's really exciting, and it is Pride Month, and also going along with Pride Month, I also do have Melt With You by Jennifer Dugan. Love Can Be a Rocky Road. I really did like Some Girls Do, and I did enjoy her other one, Verona Comics, even though it was a bit darker. This follows Fallon and Chloe. They used to be best friends, but they hooked up right before Chloe left for college, and after a series admit they aren't even speaking to each other. And I think they have to work on an ice cream truck where they're like going across the United States together, which sounds funny. So this one is one that I'm definitely going to add, and these do fulfill some Pride requirements, and I want to read a bit more diversely in June, so that is good. Another one is See You Yesterday by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is her newer one, and this has to do with, like, it's like a Groundhog Day type story, and I'm really excited for this one. And I think that she, like, gets stuck in Groundhog Day, and the guy she hates is also in her loop, so that sounds really interesting. And then another one that is on my spring TBR as well is Always Jane by Jen Bennett, and this is her newest. It has to do with a love triangle. It has to do with a summer love, and she is working for she's like a chauffeur's daughter, and she falls for 2 boys at once. So those are the 4 tentative contemporaries I am going to put on this, and Melt With You and See You Yesterday are e-arcs that I have, and Always Jane was a book that was on my spring TBR, so that's really exciting. Now let's get to the other books. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. It's some more sequels. So what I'm going to do is I have some options. I have to read Feather and Flame by Liva Blackburn. This is like a companion book, but it is Mulan's story, and I need to read this because I'm going to blog tour at the end of the month, so this will definitely get read. And also 4 Aunties and a Wedding. There's a prompt at some of my books that have to do with a wedding, so I'm probably going to add this to my TBR as well for the sequel, for my yearly TBR. And because I didn't read an adult book the previous month, I just got a little bit distracted. I'm going to try to put 2 on my TBR. So I'm going to put Book of the Night by Holly Black, and I'm going to put The Bone Shard's Daughter by Andrea Stewart. These I was supposed to read last month, and I just didn't get around to it, so don't be mad at me. So these are my sequels, and these are, I'm going to try for 2 adult fantasies. We'll see. I heard that this is like more paranormal, so maybe that will work. And I read about 30 pages of this and enjoyed it, and then I just put it down for some reason, which I can't tell you why. Sequels, adult fantasy. My nonfiction book is going to be a German Shepherd training book, because we just got a German Shepherd puppy. Really excited for that. You'll see her in my reading vlogs when she is awake and not getting into trouble, which she currently is doing. She's outside with my parents. So the sequel I'm going to write down is For Aunties, and then I'm also going to write down book. Okay. So yeah, so those are the general books, and now I'm going to kind of flesh out the last couple, just so I can fill up my TBR cart, because that's sort of where I pull my books from. So I'll be back. That I would love to get to is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axia. This is a Chinese American fantasy story, like Chinese theory. It's like a fairy tale retelling, and it has to do with the water. And I tend to read a lot of water books in the spring and summer, so this one sounds great. And the book that has been on every TBR since since December probably is In Every Generation by Kendra Blake. So I really need to get this. This is Willow's daughter, so I just want to get to it. And I might do like a video where I read books that have been on a lot of TBRs. I don't know when that would go up, but now I just need to get a couple more books to fill out my TBR cart, and I will show you guys that show you guys that when I figure them out, because my TBR cart is pretty full, but I do want to add a couple of more options. Clean out my spring TBR books, because I switch everything over at the end of like a season, which technically is the end of June, even though right now it does feel like summer. So I'm going to toss A Corner of White on my TBR. This is a fantasy that I've had for so long and just never got around to. I think it's like a Hidden Kingdom series. This is A Wicked Thing by Rhianna Thomas. This, again, is a retelling that I've had on my TBR for quite a while. I've read other books by Rhianna Thomas and really did like it, so I'm hopeful her fairy tale retelling is just the same. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Marie Gu is another one that I really liked her previous books. I think I read 2 other ones. This was her first book. It has to do with a girl that's using lessons she learned in K-dramas to land her man. And my last one is Nearly Gone by El Casamano, who I've read a few things by. And this is her young adult thriller where, like, when she brushes across someone's skin, she could feel their emotions. And she's tasked to help finding them find a serial killer. So I only have 2 listens on my TBR right now. I have my German Shepherd training book and also my Clean Sweep, which is an audiobook. I will definitely have other audiobooks, but I'm just not going to put that much pressure on myself with the audiobooks, because I'm just going to read what I read. Yeah. So I hope you guys like this TBR. I will talk to you guys for my next video. Stay safe, be well, friends, and take care of yourselves. Bye. Tell me in the comments what is one book you were hoping to read this June, and I'll talk to you for my next video. Bye.